Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to meet the great Zoe Martin. She's on a mission to document legacy through film. We'll explain next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, I've been a storyteller my entire life, so I love to have other storytellers come on my show. And Zoe Martin is doing something really profound. She is preserving legacy through film. Zoe, thanks for coming on the show.
I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Thank you.
Well, this comes from a really soft spot in your heart. So tell us the journey. How did this start?
I lost my baby sister to breast cancer, Christmas Eve 2023, and there were things that she meant to do. For example, she was going to write milestone letters to her only child, Caitlin, and I was by her side 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks of her life. When she had a lucid moment, she asked me to go get the letters, and I was thrilled because I was going to be the first person to see them. And when I opened them up, I found out that there were no words on any of this custom stationery she'd had created. And at the moment, I took out like every pen I could find. I'm just grabbing everything in sight. And then I looked at her and I realized that she was so weak. At that point, she wasn't able to hold her own cup and she wouldn't be able to write the letters. And so I took out my cell phone.
Oh, my goodness.
Yep.
Thank you for sharing that with us. We're going to pull up your website, and I want you to talk about the kinds of clients that you like to work with, because they're of all ages, aren't they?
Yeah, for sure. And that's really the exciting part about that, is that you can document a child's story every year, every 5 or 10 years, where you're able to look back and see them growing up, and share that. But also, your parents or your grandparents' story, and have that as something that you can pass on to future generations, or even as a founder, having your story be something that you pass to, not just as a succession, but your corporate history or the organization's, the story for marketing even. So there's very many avenues that we can take this down.
Right. And talk about being a professional storyteller. Obviously, anybody could pull out a cell phone and say, hey, Grandpa, tell me that story again. But bringing in somebody like you and your team, it's different.
Yeah, we make it a complete experience. So I'm often building relationships with clients, getting to know them on a personal level. For example, if we were to photograph or film an entire family, I would want to speak to the different members, not just the one person who hired me, because there's stories that you have that other people love to hear, and there's stories that you haven't shared. And when someone's gone, you miss that opportunity entirely.
You were telling me a story before we started rolling about a 100-year-old?
Yes. Yeah.
Will you share that?
100-year-old Mima. There's a friend of mine who's going to have a celebration for the Mima, and they contacted me and asked me to photograph the event, which I was more than happy to do. But I had recently pivoted my business, and I said, how many generations do you have in your family right now? And they said, well, we have 4. And I asked, when was the last time that you were photographed professionally? They had never been. And I said, let's start there. So we had professional hair and makeup for everyone, and then we photographed the individual families as well of all 4 generations. And Mima had her little tiara on. It was adorable. But then I also went to the Mima's home shortly after that, and I filmed her story, an hour. And for 99 years old, the woman was sharp. Oh my goodness. And she was a hoot. The stories, she was a hoot. And it was so fun to be able to sit across from her and to be the one that they trusted to share those stories with.
Wow. And you and I have a mutual friend, Brian Flanagan. Yes. Shout out. He's a Hall of Fame speaker, and you did a wonderful video that I found on your YouTube channel. Let's go ahead and roll that.
So my first date with her was May 7th, 1966, important date. Went out, one of us fell in love, the other one didn't. The second date I had with Cindy was from May 7th, 1960 to December 28th, 1966. You get new information, you make a new decision. So I got humbled my freshman year of trying to play basketball at LSU. And I got humbled that one night because we won by 54 points and I didn't play. Coach didn't want to jeopardize the lead. Went to a party after the game and Cindy saw me and we said a couple of things and she saw a different Brian. So I asked her out again in December 28th. It was that way till April 19th, 2025. Yeah, a good run. We had a good run. We dated for 4 years. We got married in 1970, graduated from LSU in 71. Yeah, we wanted to have a family. We wanted to have Cindy wanted to be a school teacher, and then when we started having children, she wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, and that's what we did. We were blessed and lucky that happened that way. She wanted to raise babies. That's what she wanted to do. She wanted to be a stay-at-home mom with emphasis on mom. We decided we want to get back closer to home. And one of the big reasons for that is that our children are adopted. We could not adopt our second child for whatever reason out in San Francisco. We found this house, it was a little bit too expensive for us. So Patrick and I, he was 2 at the time, he and I went and stayed with a buddy. We took a nap at a buddy's house. And then Cindy came about 2 hours later, tapped me on the shoulder and said, "We bought a house." I said, "Great, which one?" The one on Wilshire. I said, "Whoa, we can't afford it." "Oh, they dropped the price and they threw in the rug." So that's how we bought this house. 44 years. It's been a great house, raising kids here, great neighborhood. We've enjoyed it, yeah. It was a home. She wanted that grandbaby, she wanted that. So they have great relationship. She taught him how to swim and as much as she could when he was that little. Yeah, they had good times together. Cindy, because she was a teacher, wanted Declan to have flashcards. She wanted him to get ahead because she knew that when they were behind, her students, when she taught them, it's just hard to catch up when other kids are moving up. So she was very much into trying to educate him on flashcards, words, phonics, all those things that you want your child to be good at. It turned out pretty well because he's a pretty smart kid. Cindy passed away in April of last year, 2025, yeah. She had cancer in 1996. Then in 2017, it came back with vengeance. And it spread, and she passed in, like I said, in April of last year. But it was a warrior. She hung in there, and she attacked it. So we knew we wanted to stay here. So I had a sign cut out and glazed and brazed, "The Flanagans, the Trail's End." And we hung that up in the bar that we have, and it'll last until next week when we'll take the Flanagans Trail's End to Fairhope, Alabama. Alabama's family. That's what we're looking for family.
What a privilege that you get to enter somebody's life and really help tell a lifetime. What does that feel like?
I think it is almost overwhelming, even just watching that with you right now. It's a privilege for me and it's an honor. And I think the biggest part of that is knowing that I had to lose someone to make the realization of how important this is.
There's a nonprofit that you're really behind. We're going to put this on the screen. NowILayMeDownToSleep.org is the website. Tell us about this nonprofit.
I've been a volunteer with them for almost 10 years now. And when I started, I thought, wow, what incredible people that could walk into a room with a family who's experienced this type of loss. I could never do that. And then I got a call because another volunteer wasn't able to go. And I thought, wow, that family's not going to have pictures if somebody doesn't go. And so I went, and I immediately went home and applied to be an affiliate photographer. So not long after I lost Christina, I got a call, and I went to the hospital. They didn't know that I just lost my sister. I didn't know that there was an older sibling. This was an unexpected, almost full-term loss. And they had decided not to let the older sibling meet the baby. And tears just streamed down my face uncontrollably. But I pulled myself together. The family did not see me because the nurse was standing between us, thankfully. And I contacted headquarters afterward and said, I love the organization, I love the mission, I'll continue to be a community volunteer and raise awareness, but I need to find a way to honor my sister. And that's when I found the Bridge Breast Network, which is where I donate a percentage of these legacy experiences to here in Dallas.
Wow. Okay, so tell me more about the mission and ministry of Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep.
Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep. It was started by a photographer and a family who the hospital had several pictures on the walls of infants and newborns. And the family, their baby was on life support. And they knew that they were going to be removing the life support. And they contacted that photographer and they said, we want photos like this of our baby, and explained the situation. And that was how it started. It's been several years ago. Sandy Putsch was that photographer in Colorado, and the family, oh my goodness, Cheryl Haggard and the baby Max. I'm going to get his name wrong at the moment.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, but Cheryl Haggard is the family, her, and all her kids are grown now.
Wow, so beautiful. We have about a minute left, so look into the camera on the left and talk to the person who might need to bring you in and to help tell their story.
If you're a founder, you've got an organization, or you're just a family who is looking to preserve your family history, this is 100% something that you need to consider doing, because once there's not an opportunity to do it, you're going to wish you had. And so again, the idea of doing this every year, a milestone, or every 5 or 10 years to commemorate something, or as a retirement gift, there's so many different opportunities. So let me help you tell your story.
So beautiful. We're going to end with her website so you can get in touch with her. thezoemartin.com is the website. Thank you so much for coming on the show. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.